If you're living paycheck to paycheck, even after a raise, you're not alone. But what if I told you that the richest 1% don't just earn more? They think completely differently about money. Most people believe they're bad with money because they don't make enough. But the truth is, you could double your income and still stay broke unless you change one thing: your habits. In this video, I'll reveal the 7 money habits the 1% use daily. Not tricks, not hacks, but proven mindsets and actions that quietly build wealth while the rest of the world overspends, panics, and stays stuck. Let's dive in, because once you understand how the wealthy manage their money, you'll never see your paycheck the same way again. Habit 1. Pay yourself first. Prioritize saving and investing before spending. Have you ever reached the end of the month wondering where your paycheck disappeared to? You worked hard, you got paid, but somehow there's barely anything left. It's like your money vanished into thin air. Now pause for a second and think, what if the problem isn't how much you earn, but how you handle that money the moment it arrives? The top 1%, the wealthy, the financially free, the ones we all look up to, they do something radically different from the average person. They follow a golden rule that most people ignore their entire lives. They pay themselves first. That doesn't mean buying themselves new clothes or fancy cars. It means that the very first thing they do when money comes in is put a portion of it aside for their future. Most people do the opposite. They pay rent, bills, subscriptions, groceries, nights out, and then maybe think about saving what's left, if anything is left at all. The truth? There's never anything left. That's by design, because without intention, your money will find a way to disappear. But the 1% don't wait for leftovers. They create the leftovers. They treat savings and investments as non-negotiable bills, like rent or electricity. They build wealth by treating their future self like a priority, not an afterthought. Let me tell you about Mark. Mark makes $60,000 a year. He's not a millionaire, not yet, but Mark is part of the top 10% of savers in America. Why? Because every time he gets paid, he automatically transfers 20% of his income into a separate account before he touches a single cent. It's automatic, it's disciplined, it's boring, but it's brilliant. Over 5 years, Mark's savings grew to over $80,000. And during that same time, his friends, who made the same money, have almost nothing saved. They kept telling themselves they'd save next month, but next month never came. This isn't about guilt or shame, it's about truth. And the truth is, you can't build wealth if you wait to see what's left after spending. You build wealth by choosing you first, before the world takes a bite out of your paycheck. Now here's the part most people miss. Pay yourself first isn't just about saving, it's a statement. It says, I matter, my future matters, my freedom matters. It's psychological, it's empowering. And once you feel the power of controlling your money instead of it controlling you, there's no going back. So how do you start? Step 1. Decide a percentage. It could be 10%, 15%, or 20%, whatever you can realistically commit to. Step 2. Make it automatic. Set up an auto transfer the same day your paycheck hits. Don't rely on willpower, automate your discipline. Step 3. Put that money in a place where you won't touch it. A high-yield savings account, a Roth IRA, an index fund, anywhere but your checking account. You might be thinking, but I don't have enough to save right now. That's exactly the trap. The 1% didn't wait until they were rich to start saving. They became rich because they started saving, even when it was only $50 a month. The amount matters less than the habit. Habits compound. $10 saved today grows into $1,000 tomorrow, not just from interest, but from identity. You become someone who saves, who invests, who thinks ahead. That shift in identity is worth more than any paycheck. And here's a secret no one talks about. When you pay yourself first, you start to feel rich before you are rich. Not because your lifestyle changes overnight, but because your mindset does. You stop living in fear of bills. You stop feeling trapped. You stop being a slave to the next paycheck. You take back control. Think about this. If your future self could speak to you right now, what would they say? Would they thank you for spending recklessly today? Or would they be begging you to start choosing long-term freedom over short-term pleasure? The answer is obvious, and the power is in your hands. Start small. Stay consistent. Don't wait for a raise or a promotion or a miracle. Start with what you have right now. Because the day you start paying yourself first is the day you start building a future you'll be proud to live in. Most people will spend their whole lives paying others, landlords, credit card companies, fast food chains, and brands that don't care about them. But you can make a different choice. You can choose to make yourself your most important bill. You can choose to become the kind of person the 1% already are. Intentional, disciplined, and free. Because in the end, the habit of paying yourself first isn't just a money habit, it's a mindset. A declaration that you are no longer okay with being broke, that you're ready to step into a new identity, that you're done living for Friday paychecks and ready to start building legacy. This is how the wealthy think. This is how they live. This is where your journey begins. So ask yourself, are you ready to start paying yourself first? Habit 2. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Don't let your expenses grow with your income. Why is it that some people earn more and more money, yet still feel broke? You'd think that a raise would change everything, that earning $80,000 instead of $50,000 would finally bring peace, that hitting 6 figures would mean you're set. But somehow the pressure never leaves. The stress grows, the bills grow, and the savings? They're still stuck. This is the silent killer of wealth. It's called lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is what happens when your expenses rise in perfect sync with your income. You get a raise, so you upgrade your apartment. You land a bonus, so you upgrade your car. You hit 6 figures, so you start eating out every night, buying luxury clothes, and taking fancier vacations, because now you can afford it. But here's the truth. You can't out-earn bad habits. If your standard of living always climbs with your paycheck, you will never build true wealth. You'll just become a high-income version of your broke self. The 1% understands something that most people miss entirely. Wealth isn't measured by how much you spend. It's measured by how much you keep. A millionaire who lives on $40,000 a year is freer than someone earning $200,000 who spends $199,000. Let's talk about Maria. Maria was 27 when she got her first 6-figure job in tech. She moved into a luxury apartment downtown. She bought a new car. Her clothes changed. Her weekends changed. On the outside, she looked successful. But inside, she was anxious, maxed out, and one emergency away from collapsing. Then she did something radical. She cut back. She moved into a smaller apartment. She sold her car and took the train. She started cooking at home. Her co-workers thought she was crazy. But within 18 months, Maria had saved over $40,000 and had her first investment property. You see, the difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck isn't always income, it's discipline. The wealthy don't inflate their lives just because they can. They understand that every dollar not spent is a soldier working for them. Lifestyle inflation whispers, "You've earned it. You deserve better." It appeals to your ego. But that voice doesn't want you free. It wants you trapped. Trapped in payments. Trapped in debt. Trapped in a life that looks rich but feels empty. The truth is, freedom feels better than luxury ever looks. So what can you do? First, create a wealth gap. The difference between what you earn and what you spend. And the bigger that gap, the faster your money builds momentum. Second, Upgrade your life slowly and intentionally. Not because of what others expect, but because it adds value. Maybe you want a better apartment? Great. But ask, will this help me sleep better, think better, grow faster? Or is it just for show? Third, resist the urge to impress. Many people go broke trying to look rich, but the real wealthy? They wear the same shirts, drive modest cars, and quietly buy assets while the world isn't watching. Here's something most people won't tell you. You can be happy with less. You can find joy in simplicity. The dinner cooked at home tastes better when you know your bills are paid. The car you own outright drives smoother than the one with a $600 payment. Peace is the real luxury. There's a moment when you say no to a purchase, even when you can afford it, where you take back power. You reclaim control. You decide that your future matters more than fleeting pleasure. And that moment? It's a turning point. It's a declaration that you're no longer living on autopilot. Think about your dream life. Financial freedom. Time with your family. Peace of mind. It's all possible. But not if your lifestyle keeps eating your wealth. Not if your comfort today steals your options tomorrow. So take inventory. Where are you spending just to match your peers? What have you upgraded just because you got a raise? Ask yourself, do I want to look rich or do I want to be rich? The 1% don't chase appearances, they build substance. They don't let income become an excuse for indulgence. They use income as fuel for freedom. And here's the most liberating truth of all. You don't have to have a high income to avoid lifestyle inflation. You just need awareness, discipline, vision, and the courage to go against the grain. Because in the end, the money you don't spend is the money that builds your future. The restraint you show today is the freedom you'll feel tomorrow. So the next time you get a raise or a bonus, don't ask, what can I upgrade? Ask, what can I keep the same so I can buy back my life? Live beneath your means, not because you have to, but because you choose to. Because you value your peace more than praise. Because you're done looking rich and ready to live free. That's the mindset of the 1%. And it's available to anyone brave enough to say, I don't need more, I just need enough to grow. This is how you escape the hamster wheel. This is how wealth begins. Not with more, but with less. And that choice is yours. Habit 3. Track every dollar. Know exactly where every dollar goes. There's a reason most people feel like money slips through their fingers. It's because they don't know where it's going. Think about this. If I asked you to name the last 5 things you spent money on today, right now, could you do it? Most people can't. Not because they're lazy, but because they've been trained to spend without thinking. We live in a world that profits from your distraction. Every swipe, every click, every one-tap checkout is designed to make you forget that money is leaving your account. And if you're not tracking your money, someone else is. Your bank, your credit card company, the algorithm behind your shopping app. The 1% don't let that happen. They track every dollar, not obsessively, not with shame, but with clarity. They know their numbers, down to the cent. They know how much they spend on food, on rent, on subscriptions, on coffee, not to punish themselves, but to protect their goals. Because here's the truth. You can't improve what you don't measure. Imagine trying to lose weight without ever stepping on a scale, or training for a marathon without tracking how far you've run. It would feel like guessing in the dark. That's how most people handle money. But the wealthy? They treat their finances like a business. They look at the numbers, they review the data, they make decisions based on facts, not feelings. Let me introduce you to Jordan. Jordan used to live paycheck to paycheck, constantly overdrafting his account and wondering why his savings never grew. One day, he decided to track every expense, every coffee, every Uber, every dollar that left his wallet for 30 days. By the end of the month, he realized he had spent over $500 on food delivery and impulse buys. That was $6,000 a year, money he could have invested, saved, or used to pay off debt. That awareness changed everything. Within 6 months, Jordan cut unnecessary spending in half and paid off 2 credit cards. But more importantly, he felt in control for the first time in his life. He stopped fearing money and started managing it. And that's what tracking really gives you: power. When you know where your money is going, you stop feeling like life is happening to you. You start feeling like you're in the driver's seat. Here's how you can start tracking your money without stress. Step 1. Choose a simple method. Use a notebook, a spreadsheet, or an app like Mint, YNAB, or EveryDollar. It doesn't have to be fancy, just consistent. Step 2. Track everything for 30 days. Not just big expenses, everything. Even that $3 coffee. Even that Wild 29 app purchase. You're building awareness. Step 3. Categorize your spending. Break it into buckets: needs, wants, savings, and debt payments. This will show you where your money really lives. Step 4. Ask questions. Where are you overspending? What surprised you? What could you cut without losing happiness? This isn't about guilt, it's about clarity. Because once you see the truth, you can change it. Now here's something powerful. Tracking money doesn't make you tight, it makes you free. Most people are afraid to look because they're scared of what they'll find. But ignorance isn't freedom, it's a prison. The numbers are there whether you look or not. So why not face them and take back control? And don't worry about being perfect. This isn't a one-time fix, it's a lifelong habit. Even the 1% revisit their budgets. They adjust, they refine. Because they know money, like life, is fluid. What matters is that you stay in the conversation. Here's another benefit. Tracking your spending builds discipline. It makes you pause before you buy. It creates a moment between want and action. A chance to ask, do I really need this? Is it worth it? What would future me say? And over time, those little pauses lead to massive change. You start spending with purpose. You start aligning your money with your values. You stop leaking cash on things that don't matter and start building a life that does. And here's the truth. Every dollar you track is a dollar that works for you, not against you. It becomes part of a plan, part of a mission, part of a bigger picture. So if you feel overwhelmed by money, if you feel like it's running your life, start here. Start by knowing your numbers. Start by facing your truth. Because clarity is the first step toward freedom. Don't just hope for a better financial future. Build it. Track it. Shape it. Because the people who win with money aren't the ones who make the most. They're the ones who know the most about where it's going. This is how the 1% live. Not in chaos, not in guesswork, but in clarity. Track every dollar, own every decision, rewrite your future.